Welcome to the Point Podcast. I'm your host, Rinn, and my mission with this episode is simple: to help realtors old or new to build their real estate business faster and better. Success in any business is determined by our ability to learn new things. So I'm here to share first-hand experience and advice from some of the most sought-after experts in the real estate industry. I'm so excited that you have joined us, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Welcome to the Point Podcast. I'm your host, Rinn, and my guest is Nancy Troxell, current president of the SRIA. Nancy is an estate specialist and director of the California Association of Realtors since 2000. She and her husband, Tom Carnahan, are co-founders of a very successful real estate brokerage firm in Northridge called Broker in Trust. They also have Carnahan Property Management Company, which is a family business. 2020 marks Nancy's 30th year in the business, and the Real Estate Hall of Fame firm with Remax in 2008. She's a very, very proud mom of 2 plus 2 stepdaughters, 2 son-in-laws, and 2 grandkids ages 2 to 4. In her spare time, she loves snow skiing, tennis, and playing the guitar, which she started to learn in 2017. So Nancy, tell us, what do you know about this real estate market? It was sizzling hot till the end of February, then suddenly it came to basically a stop with this coronavirus. A lot of people are concerned about the property values are going to be declined and that we're going to have a crash. So what do you tell your real estate community as well as to the public?
Well, it's a new normal, and there aren't a lot of answers. The economy was sizzling, and we've been enjoying a sizzling economy. And I think there was some, sense that, since real estate historically is very cyclical, that at some point we were going to be faced with a sort of a change in that sizzle, so to speak. This, nobody could have anticipated that this would throw us into that new phase, so to speak. But that's a lot of speculation, is that we're in this new phase. But, we're going to persevere. We always have, and we will continue to persevere. I would pay attention, towards the end of the month of April. I'm sure there'll be some really economists' viewpoints on statistically what's been going on. I know there's a lot floating around as far as loans being, the loan application process has slowed down. There's been a lot of cancellation of escrows. But again, it's just a new norm, and we just have to kind of write it out and try to take this time to be better, be more professional.
That's excellent, yes, because I think this is basically, you hit it right on the head. We have to get better, and we have to adapt to this new norm, whatever that new norm is going to be, or how it's going to play out. Now, Nancy, well, obviously you've been in the business for many, many years, and you're associated with CAR, and locally you're the president. Congratulations with the new president. But is there any new regulations coming down from the National Association, which perhaps in conflict with the California Association, or are they in sync? So can you tell us just a few words about the new regulations coming down?
Well, we make it a point, I think, at the local to stay as consistent as we feel possible with our state association and our national association, up and down. So I think that there is a movement, especially today, as leaders of our respective associations, to try to represent to the membership what we believe is best for the profession. As far as regulations on a local, state, and national, the big one that's coming down, and it is coming down from national, and it has been adopted by the California Association of Realtors and by the local Association of Realtors is the Clear Cooperation Policy. It's called Clear Cooperation MLS Rule 8.0, which basically makes it a requirement to input your listing, your new listing, into the multiples within 1 business day of public marketing. And the idea is to stop this off-market coming soon nonsense, which the only one that really benefits from it is typically the listing agent.
Do you feel that number one is this new, as you say, regulation coming down, but how the association or CAR going to enforce it? What would be the penalties if they don't comply with?
It's a good question. It's the local level that's going to be enforcing, and we're actually in the process right now of creating the enforcement and the penalties that surround the issue of clear cooperation. When you have clear cooperation, it benefits everybody. It benefits the buyers because they get to see the inventory. It benefits the sellers because they get more exposure, the proper exposure, and it benefits the real estate community because of cooperation. What would we do if we didn't cooperate? You can't have your cake and eat it too. Either you're cooperating or you're not cooperating.
Right.
And if you want to be different, then don't be in the MLS.
Right. It's very interesting because I've been in the business for many years. We used to call it pocket listing, right? And why it was pocket listing, because 30-40 years ago we didn't even have an MLS, right? And we kept that listing either in our heads or in our pockets. But anyway, let me ask you something about belonging to the board. A lot of people I talk to, they really don't understand what is the benefit to belonging to a real estate board like ours here. Would you explain to perhaps maybe those realtors who don't want to join the board or think the one-man show, they can do it by themselves, they don't need anything? Can you explain the benefits of belonging to the board?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for the question. There's actually a lot of benefits, but one of the greatest benefits is advocacy. In fact, for 2020, the association, Southland Regional Association of Realtors, is looking at a new strategic plan for the future. And I think our critics believe that we have not been relevant, and that's why we're relooking at the strategic plan. But one thing that we've always been very, very good at, and our members should really appreciate and understand the value, is advocacy. There's a lot going on legislatively, and we do a really good job on a local, state, and national level. And when you join you need to join them all. You can't partition and say, I just want to be a member of the local and not the state and national. We can lean in on the various jurisdictions and have an impact on the laws that govern the way we do business and govern our clients. We're the only trade association that actually represents and fights for the rights of the homeowners.
I heard some new, I don't know, I read it or where did I hear it about the renters. With the obviously now, I don't know how many, 7 million unemployed people, a lot of people got hurt because of this coronavirus. And so is there a relief for renters that, according to our governor here in California, that you cannot get rid of them, or I mean, that's not the right word, but maybe I have to
Yeah,
edit
well,
this word out.
there's a moratorium on eviction.
Right.
But not, it's not just free, oh, I don't have to pay my rent. I really can't talk specific about what those laws are right now. But what I can say is there's two forms for those who are listening that are in property management that should be released tomorrow. And one form is so that if your tenant can't pay their rent, they need to notify the landlord within 7 days after the rent is due that they can't make the payment. And the other document is a form or contract that will provide for the reason why they can't. And I think the first form actually put the reason, but the second form is the reason and what the payback of those lost rents, what they're planning on doing to pay that back. So there's no forgiveness necessarily at all, really. There's no forgiveness, but these forms will help to accommodate this new phase we're going into right now.
I think that this is part of the forbearance question, which a lot of people have, and I told you that I did this little video, because a lot of people think that forbearance is forgiving the debt. It's not. A forbearance is you have to apply for it, you have to qualify for it. It may take 4, 5, 6 months until you get approved, and that's when really, because what the forbearance does is basically kick down the payment. But at the end of when you get approved, you have to come up with all the 4 or 5 months payment as well as the current payment.
Yeah, this is, this is your area of expertise. So absolutely, I hear what you're saying. My question is how will that impact your credit? So I think that's something that's not being addressed in this forbearance discussion. The other advice I was given is that you should call your lending institution to find out exactly what their process is and what you could expect to happen if you don't pay your mortgage. You really want to be smart when it comes to these things, because you don't want it to come and bite you later, especially when you want to do something and you can't because you took advantage of these opportunities.
This is the reason I did that video, because a lot of people think that they can, and it happens that I heard it on national TV just whenever it was, Monday or Friday, I can't remember, that you don't have to worry about the payments because they will add it on the end of the term of your 30 year or whatever they're going to. But people don't realize the consequences. So I think that education, coming back to the realtors, education is very, very important, because they're hearing these false news, let's put this way, or some of them came from, I think, our governor, that they don't understand how the lending works. So I don't know, maybe you should get somebody in to explain exactly how that works. The forbearance.
That's funny, because just prior to this conversation, I popped into a Zoom meeting with our education committee and speaking just about this, and they're going to have a weekly meeting targeted primarily to agents, real estate agents.
Sure.
And I think they were voting on it, and I had to leave, but they're talking about one just covering, Zoom and best practices. One talking about the 6 new CAR COVID forms to drill down and go over those forms. Another one is regarding relief for realtors in this time, including the discussion of SBA loans, and then maybe there will be a meeting specifically on, the forbearance and the property management issues. So we're rolling out that education. We also, for anybody that's watching, that's a broker, owner, or manager, we have a recurring meeting on Mondays at 10:30, and you get an e-blast. You should get an e-blast on Thursdays regarding those. And we're having very relevant topical programming. The next one is going to be on the COVID forms, the new COVID forms. They're designed for the brokers, managers, and owners so that they can bring the information back to their agent. We're really trying to take advantage of this opportunity to engage our members while we have their attention, do as much education, pushing through governance, meetings, and just trying to be present.
Basically, I'm glad that you mentioned it, because this was my next question. That what is the board doing? And you almost explained it. That what the board is doing these challenging times, whether you helping the smaller brokerage firms, the mom and pop or the one-man broker, or the larger firms, what the board is doing basically, and you explained that education. Now,
well, first of all, I have to congratulate our Chief Executive Officer, Tim Johnson. He just jumped right on this situation, converted the association, the physical building on Balboa has been closed as of March 19th, relocated everybody to a virtual way of working, and has made a lot of information available through our channels to keep our membership up to date and make sure the resources are available. So there's resources on, we're duplicating a lot of the resources on the local level from the state and the national level, but there, I would say you could get a lot of information from CAR, but you can get really that same information, and it's more local, from SRAR. So there's a lot of online webinars you can watch. Like we've been talking about the new 6 COVID forms. There's an awesome webinar on the risk management. I think it's car.org /risk management. Sorry, I don't have the link, but if all this information is out there. You just have to commit yourself to becoming more educated. And it's really important to you right now to stay educated.
Yeah, I think it's really, it's very, very important for the individuals to understand that how important all these forms and education, whether it's forbearance or anything which is associated in their practice, especially with this changing market. Because when the market was sizzling hot, it was very easy because you had 4, 5, 6 multiple offers on a property. But now that people are concerned, it's not going to be like that. So we have to teach, train, educate the community what to do, because the market is not going to collapse. You and I both know it. It's going to.
There's a lot of confusion out there right now.
Right.
There's a lot of confusion. This whole discussion about essential and non-essential, and no in-person showings and open house. I don't know if your audience is aware of that. I could speak to that a little bit if you'd like.
Well, as you said, a lot of confusion, but all the reports coming down, what I hear obviously in the lending industry, is that by the end of this month, we start to see some kind of easing, not only the quarantine, but businesses start to come back. And according to large brokerage houses like Shearson Lehman and whoever, that 3 to 6 months recovery is almost guaranteed. And this is my opinion. So I'm asking you, but they reckon that the real estate market will come back stronger than before, because of the pandemic.
Yeah, it'll remains to be seen. I think that, especially right now, again, there's some confusion and controversy over whether real estate, we should be doing what we normally do, obviously, the new normal, and there's very specific guidelines that should be followed. And as far as, showing in person, we're really not supposed to be showing in person, and we need to kind of stand together. And if we can all just take a little breather, and we have some clients that really, have needs right now, we need to just be very mindful of how we're servicing them to try to stay, consistent with the ordinance and the guidelines. And that's a little bit, based on interpretation. But your individual broker, if you're an agent, they should be telling you what's permissible and what's not permissible and how you should be conducting your business. But the sense is, to go back to how we started this conversation, this part of the conversation, is that I think people are going to really want to do something after we get back to more business as usual. So I think it will, we'll have a short fusion of people who want to buy or sell because of being sort of in a limbo land. Certainly, if there's no need to be buying or selling right now, you shouldn't be, because it really goes against our leadership on every level.
Well, Nancy, I think it's part of common sense. A lot of people, I went out, I had to go out to the store, and a lot of people now, I see them wearing the mask, even driving the car. I didn't wear it, be honest, but when I went into the store, I put my gloves on and everything. So we don't know very much about this virus. But Nancy, let me ask you the final question. Well, you have all the credentials, and we know that you're successful. But a lot of people, a lot of real estate people, a very large percentage of real estate people, they depend on one sale perhaps a year, right? A lot of the people, because I went through these kind of recessions or whatever you call it, a lot of people get very negative. How can we come to your board and have a big party, a success party, because now we over anything you suggest, perhaps.
So you mentioned the, people who survive on one transaction a year, and I'm here to say that I don't know if they really have the depth of experience to continue to be doing business that way. There's really a lot at stake. So I think where the association could come in is to maybe encourage those people to either up their game and commit to this profession by getting a designation, by becoming more educated, in something, maybe getting involved with organized real estate, which is legitimate, and advocacy, and getting involved with their neighborhood councils or whatever it is, whatever makes them excited about this industry and this profession. Have them lean in on it, or consider not continuing to pay dues and do something else. Yeah. Because having so many people in our profession that really are not doing our profession and not really committed is not really good for the profession. And it's certainly not good for the consumer, because it creates a lot of noise. Yes, so, I mean, the barrier to entry in this profession is very low. It takes 135 hours of studying and taking a test, and you're a realtor. So I would suggest that take it upon yourself to contribute to the profession and make yourself better, or, like I said, consider doing something else.
Well, I totally agree with you. Unfortunately, human beings are what they are. You know what I mean? They think that the neighbor sold their home for $1 million, and the agent, they saw the agent maybe once. They don't understand what it takes to be, a successful agent. Uh, and they just think that it's so easy, and they get into real estate, and then they find out, well, it's hard work. You have to work it, and you have to be dedicated, you have to be educated, and then all this, now you're talking about education. I'm a GRI. I got my designation, I don't know how many years ago, but it
Nice.
means absolutely nothing. And Nancy, final question. How long what you hear, and how long you think this is going to last before it starts to rebound? So people get back perhaps a bit of confidence that now it's happening. You see, I can't go to the barber. I look like we were in the 60s, long hair, because it's not an essential business. So how long you think it's going to last? Because I think we have to give people a
Well,
positive news, and not negative news about the business, about the future of the United States.
well, how blessed are we to be in one of the most impactful in our country.
Right.
I mean, it's pretty cool. That's why everybody wants to get the real estate license. Right? I don't know when it's going to end, but there will always be a need for good professional realtors and all of the affiliated services that go along with selling real estate and brokerage. And I think we need to be mindful right now of the responsibility to our country, and to try to follow the guidelines and know that this will pass. And I think it'll pass sooner than later. The news is very encouraging right now. The appearance for maybe a week or two. But I know that our leadership of our state and our nation knows how important real estate is to our economy, and will want to allow us to do our business whenever they believe it is safe once again.
Well, Nancy, it was a pleasure talking with you, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you for the opportunity.
I wish you all the best at the board. Some of the sound, I don't know whether it was your mic or the video mic or something, they didn't come through properly. My guy going to edit, and you'll be the first to see the interview. But I thank you very much, and
thank you.
Just keep up the good work, and encourage the people. All right.
Yes.
Thank you very much.